I know we haven't done a video in a while, but we're working on, we got a new video camera now and some editing software and things, and we're trying to learn. So we decided to pull Tegan out. We're going to feed them both today, the two girls. So at any rate, we just decided to pull her out and let you see kind of her colors. The iridescent, she just shed. She's obviously hungry, looking for food. I don't really want to make eye contact with her at this point because they can see that as a threat. But I wanted to get her out and show her to y'all, and then I'm going to put her back in her cage. And kind of dancing with her because I don't want her focusing in on my head to rail me, and feed them. So at any rate, here's Tegan, almost 2 years old, 50% Jampea dwarf. I don't overfeed her. She eats once a week, a meal about the size of her body there. And apparently she's doing acrobatics too. So I don't want to keep her out too long. She's extremely hungry because they don't eat when they're in shed, obviously. So let's put her back in her house. She lives in this big, nice 8 foot by 3 foot by 3 foot enclosure. Come on, girl, go on. As you'll see, most of them want to be in their house anyways. They have no desire to be out roaming, free or trying to break out of their house unless you haven't fed them or there's a reason. One. So that's her. Alright, so now I'm a little bit more equipped. We're going to get, she's Kalatoa and Madu. She's 50% super dwarf. Her mom, I believe, is Madu, and her father, I believe, is a Kalatoa. Both of them 50%, making her 50% also. But she's an A-male, pos het, albino. Regular albino, not white albino. So let's get her out. She's sitting in her water dish. She likes that a lot. I don't know why, but it's drier here in Utah. I spray out their cages every day with these different things, and she's hungry as well, so let's see what she's gonna do. Hey, Zach. You asleep? Oh, there she goes. I think she was asleep. Come on. Don't hiss at me. Come on. She's kind of hissing at me right now. Not really liking me too much. That's okay. She'll get over it. Come on. Alright, hello. Good morning. It's actually night, but it'd be morning for you since you're a snake. Anyways, Asia. A-males. Absolutely one of my most favorite morphs. I don't know why, like I've said before in past videos, probably because I'm colorblind and I love, yellow and red are my favorite colors. And she has the red eyes and she's yellow with the brilliant whites. You want to know white Clark strain albino? I don't even think they compare to A-males, but that's just me, my opinion. Anyways, if we get closer here, get a look at some of the detail on her in those white, stripes and things. And then you got where it's white, but it kind of flares up into a, kind of an off-white right here as it goes into this kind of saddle or side rosette, if you want to even call it a rosette. It's not really a rosette. And then if you get down, people talk about the floating tail. I don't know if you'd actually really call that a floating tail when you get further down, because there's still, light yellow in there. Hi, girl. Hi, baby. She's a sweetheart. So at any rate, 50-50, somewhat of a floating tail, if that's what you want to call it. I just think they're gorgeous. But anyways, this is Asia. Hopefully she'll, in the next year, she's two. I mean, this is how big she is for two. I don't power feed them, I don't starve them, nothing. They get fed every week, except when they shed, and then I give them a meal after they shed. And both these girls have shed pretty much at the same time. Wouldn't you say, Caleb?
Yeah.
I think so. Tegan just shed, and Asia, I think she shed maybe a week ago. So either way, she's looking fabulous. Let's put her back in her cage, and she's in a 8-foot by 2.5 foot deep, 18 inches tall enclosure. I'm gonna let her go back in here, which is perfectly fine for her. She's a super dwarf. All we deal with is super dwarf and dwarf reticulated pythons here. Eventually, I am going to own one mainland, and you'll see in future videos why that is. I'm not going to really talk much about it right now. So I'm not going to lock this because we're going to feed them here in just a second. Alright, so now we're going to feed them. Right here we're bumping Tegan up a little bit in size on her rat. She's going to get a jumbo rat. She was eating large for pretty much like a year. I don't know, for probably a year. Now we're going to bump her up a little bit, get her to start to fill out and get some length to her and things, so that when she turns 3, hopefully she'll want to start to develop follicles this time of year, next year. So we'll see. And this little girl, she's gaining a lot of length, not a lot of girth. That's what reticulated pythons or most snakes are going to do, is get their length before they get girth, from what I've heard and read. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I could be totally wrong, but I've noticed that just with my girls especially, seem to grow faster than the boys do. I don't know why. Maybe that's just me. But anyways, you can tell they're hungry. They're milling around their cage. This one is ready to rail something, so let's feed them. Anyway, she's just on medium rats. I haven't bumped her up yet because she's still shedding and growing quite often, and I don't feel the need to power feed them. Of course, I probably will feed them a little more until they refuse. Once I feel like you know, they're a month before developing follicle growth or something like that. So anyhow, we lay the rats out here, like I said, around the space heater, so they defrost that way, kind of slow, and then come up to room temperature, and then I just kind of heat up the head right here to get them to grab it. I don't want any substrate on it, even though it probably wouldn't hurt the animal. It's a risk I just don't want to take. Plus, I wouldn't want to eat substrate either. I've eaten plenty of dirt in my life. So, you can see there's still plenty of moisture, and they have bowls in there full of water, and they soak in them all the time, and we soak them in, you know, bins and things like that. That I don't necessarily need to hydrate the food. I can, but I don't feel the need to do it. Now watch this girl. She's going to roll this thing so fast. She's probably the best eater we have here at Arctic Pythons. And as I say that, she decides to make a fool out of me. And that really big fool. Okay. She's hungry. We just gotta heat the head up a little bit more. Usually she grabs it fast, really fast. She's still looking around. Let's leave it on here for a little bit. Roasting that marshmallow with legs. She's obviously hungry by her body language. You can tell she's hungry. We'll try going in this other side of her enclosure where I pulled her out this side. Probably wasn't a good idea to handle them before I was going to feed them. I'm thinking is why she didn't take it immediately, or part of the reason. Like coming through the other side where I didn't pull her out of. She wasn't expecting a hand. This time she was expecting food because I switched it up. Reticulated pythons are smart, man. They're smart. You gotta really like keep your head in the game. Not just feeding, but every aspect of owning them. They will amaze you. We're just warming up the head of this guy now. This big old boy, huh? Girl, I guess. It's a big freaking rat, dude. She'll have no problem with it. See, last time I measured Asia, she's about 5 foot. Maybe a little more, give or take. And Tegan, when she stretches out along the back of her cage here, which is 8 foot, she's probably 7 foot. Easy 7 foot. And that's not even being lenient. She probably is 7 foot, maybe a little longer. And it's amazing that the girls are pretty much, one was born 2 months before the other, and I wanted them for partially because of that reason at that age range when I was looking, so I could watch the difference between the two growing up, a dwarf and a super dwarf being fed pretty much the same. Obviously the bigger one's going to get a little bit bigger meal, it's a bigger animal, but it's just crazy the growth rate of a dwarf compared to the super dwarf. Let's see where she's at. She's back there. I like to move it around a little bit, get him to coil up on it, give him some stimulation. This girl hasn't eaten since she went in blue. I have it on my records, but she hasn't eaten in probably 14 days, 13 days. And she just shed out, made a mess of her cage, and that was wonderful. But there you go, both the girls eating. That's a lock up. Alright, thanks for watching Arctic Pythons. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button. Stay up to date on what we're doing here as far as our breeding projects and things go, and what we're working towards bringing down in size through the dwarfs and super dwarfs for y'all. Some things that hopefully you haven't seen. If anything, you haven't seen a lot of. So take it easy. Have a wonderful night. Peace.